Hi, this is Joe Green, head pastor of St. Paul Missionary Baptist Church located in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Also the founder of the 2019 movement, and I want to share a couple of thoughts with you. Recently, I didn't watch it. I don't watch the Grammys or any of those programs anymore, but someone sent me a clip that where the one of the people that was involved with the Grammys made a statement to say that Black people are disproportionately shot and killed by the police. Also, there was a statement, I think it was last year sometime, that LeBron James stated that that Black people are hunted every time we step outside of our homes. Now, the reason I'm going to address this, and I know this is going to be a little controversial, not because I look to seek after controversy. I just want you guys to understand that anytime I do things like this, anytime I address issues, I never do it from a place to be provocative or instigational or instigating anything or trying to be controversial. That's not what I seek after. Anybody knows me knows I'm not that type of person. I don't just say things just to try to stir up feelings. There's something behind what I say. There's a reason and a purpose behind it, and the reason and the purpose behind me doing this is because to kind of offset the false narrative that's out there. It's a very dangerous narrative for people like LeBron to say that we're getting hunted down every time we leave our homes, or for people to continue to promote this idea as though Black people are just getting gunned down, just constantly gunned down, and especially by a white police officer. That's a myth. So we're going to talk about it. Now, the first thing I want to do, again, I want us to get, whenever I talk, I want you to go beyond your emotional realm. Don't get in your feelings and listen to actual facts and data and common sense, and those type of things, because emotions are is a very easy trigger point for people. The thing with George Floyd is George Floyd was shown over and over again, that video, and that video is very it's hard to watch, no matter who you are, no matter what the situation was. It doesn't matter what George Floyd did or didn't do. That would be hard to watch for anyone. Anytime someone gets killed or anytime a life is taken, if you see it, it doesn't matter. It's a hard thing to look at because it's unnatural. Human beings, we are more so into aspiring to live and to promote life. So whenever you get to a place where life is being taken, it's an unnatural status, and emotionally it can trigger people. But we have to go beyond the emotional part of that to look at it so that we don't, so that things don't get kind of twisted around. There's a lot of police that have gotten shot recently over the last couple of years because of this narrative that police are just going out and it's target season on young Black people, right? So we got to put it in perspective. From a doctoral perspective, whenever you're doing research, whenever you want to find out what's true or what's not, you can't go by your visuals, right? So what we use, or what the media is using, is they use snapshots or anecdotes to prove a point, and you can't prove a fact or a larger reality by using one incident or giving a picture or whatever the case may be, just one video or a couple of videos that show these type of things. You got to go by actual numbers and statistics. And what I found when you go and do doctoral level research, there's a lot of times that you may have a certain conclusion that you have drawn in your own understanding or how you think about it. But then when you actually go to the numbers and statistics and facts, that if you find out that it's not true as you thought it was, right? You find out that what your original assumption was is not true. Let me give you an example. Some of my closest friends growing up, it was probably like 5 of us. And out of 5 of us, 4 of them had mom and dad in the household, right? So when you look at that, you would assume that most Black people, I could draw the conclusion that all, no, research and statistics are what they are. They're not, facts are facts. They're not wrong or right. They're facts. So when you look at numbers are facts. How you interpret them could be wrong. But research and statistics aren't wrong. They're actually what they are. Again, we can't go by what we feel, because if you go by what you feel, what you see, you could be misled. And the example I use is that I had several people that I grew up with, and those people that I grew up with all had fathers in their household. But when you look at it statistically, the majority of African-American households are single family households. So you have to go beyond that. You have to go beyond what you feel to be true to look at what actual numbers are and what they represent. And so so let's look at the actual numbers, right? So here's and the other part of that, let me say this before I get to it. The media has a job. They're it's almost like controversy sells, not almost, but controversy sells. Controversy is more attention, garners more attention. So what happens is you have people that actually they want to stoke controversy. They want to stoke division. They want to stoke animosity. And the Bible talks about that. It talks about, how what Satan's job is. He's the accuser of the brother. And his job is to have us hating each other, mistrusting each other, fanning the flames of controversy and confusion and all those type of things. And so, again, we can't fall victim to the devices of the enemy. We should always look at what is actual true and what is actual factual in order to gain better understanding. So here's a statistic that the statistic is it was a recent Washington Post analysis. Black Americans, it says since January of 2015, 4,728 people have died in police shootings, and around half of them were white. So out of 4,728 people dying in police shootings, 2,385 of them were white, 1,252 were black, and 877 were Hispanic. 214 were from other racial groups. And if you think about blacks, 13% of the population, so around 23% of police shootings were African Americans or black people. So that is, you can argue the fact that that's disproportional because 13%, but 23% of those are shooting, but a larger percentage of white people are shot by police officers than black people. But you never see that. They don't show that on the news. I've never seen a story showing a white person being shot or killed by police officers. So why is it that if two times more white people are shot by police than black people, how come they don't show that? It's because they are promoting a certain narrative, and they're promoting that narrative in a way that causes us to be fearful, to be afraid. And then you have people get up and they say these things. Now, again, going back to numbers and statistics, these are actual numbers. So 4,728 is the actual number. Here's it. FBI statistics. Let me give some FBI statistics, and then I'll go to what I was get to my next point. So in 2015, 2/3 of unarmed people of any race killed by police in the process of committing violent crime or property destruction. Well, let me start from the beginning. So 74% of all fatal police shootings, the individuals had already fired shots, brandished a gun, or attacked a person with a weapon with their bare hands. The paper reported in 2015 another 16% of shootings came after incidents that did not involve firearms or active attacks, but featured other potentially dangerous threats. Sister Didi, statistics can be manipulated if you don't know how to read statistics, but emotions are even more manipulated, especially when they don't show you the whole picture. So we have to be careful not to just let them, and that's what the media does. They're not giving you the whole story. They're just giving you a part truth. But when you look at actual numbers, strong numbers are what they are. You can manipulate the interpretation of statistics, but the actual numbers themselves aren't manipulated. Also, the report showed that cops don't usually initiate the contact with the person who is shot. 3/4 of fatal encounters start with someone contacting police and reporting the suspect. And so most of the time when the police show up, someone has called the police, right, when they show up. And again, we got to be careful not to allow fear mongering to take precedence over us. Here's the FBI statistics I was talking about. So FBI statistics show that Black people are, there's a larger amount of, I don't want to go through that one. There's other statistics that I want to sort through. I don't want to. Okay, so from 1974 to 2005, 94% of Black victims were killed by other African Americans, a statistic that continued to hover around 90%. So again, that's the statistic. And the reason I'm saying that is that they're intentionally promoting a narrative. What is the narrative? They don't show you that at the same time that we have a person that got killed by a white police officer or shot by a black police officer, for every one person that you see getting shot by a white police officer, 100 or 900 of them, or 90, I should say, no, 900, that's the statistic, are shot by other African Americans, but they don't make the news. They don't tell that part of the story because they are pushing the narrative in a certain way that has us to in this heightened level of and in the past, they're also bridging the past. So in the past, we've had a lot more issues with the police, of course. We know historically what has happened, but I'm saying in current time, for instance, there are about 35 million African Americans in the United States. Out of 35 million African Americans in 2019, let me see, 14 African Americans were shot by police officers. 28 white people were shot by police officers. Unarmed people shot by police officers. So out of 35 million people, if the number is 14 or 20, even if you double that to 28 people, the idea that it's happening at now one is too many, and it's sad anytime someone loses their life, but the narrative that it's happening like it's an epidemic, if you took 14 out of 35 million people, that statistic is super low. It's a very low statistic. And of course, that one is too much, and we're sad anytime it happens. But what the whole point is that the media is trying to fan the flames. They're trying to stoke controversy. And then you have people like LeBron James and others that are just promoting the same ideology. You have people on the Grammys that are telling you that they're just gunning you down in the streets, and what does that do? That causes distrust, that causes fear, that causes all these type of emotions that aren't positive emotions. They don't help the matter. And then you have these interactions where people are automatically assuming that I'm in contact with a police officer, they're going to shoot me, they're going to kill me. And that doesn't help any situation. It only makes situations worse when you have this level of it. But we have to be very careful because we have to look at it historically. That has always been the case that, when you look at some of the, during the time that Russia, during the communist Russia in the 1930s and the 1940s with the civil rights movement, it was well documented that one of their strategies was to fan the flames of racial unrest in order for them to weaken the nation and come in and take over. When you look at historically what has happened, for instance, in Ferguson, Missouri, that the people that were in there inciting the riot in Ferguson, many of them weren't even from Ferguson. And so there's this concerted effort by the enemy to continue to, cause a race war, to cause us to be just, the unrest in the streets. And so they're promoting this certain idea. And this idea, we have to look beyond the emotional aspect of it and look at what is actually happening. That the situations are improving, conditions are improving to a large extent in America. These type of situations happen all over the world, where you have, unrest in the streets, that you have conflict between two groups or more groups. And so we have to be very careful not to allow this stuff to just, they're talking about it every day, all day. And there's a reason behind it. It heightens the sense of fear. It heightens our level of stress. But when you actually look at the numbers, it doesn't happen the way that they're trying to promote it. They're trying to give you the idea that it happens a lot more frequently than it doesn't. And there's a reason behind that. We can't be manipulated. You can't allow yourself to be manipulated, because when you operate in fear, or when you listen to mainstream media that has a specific agenda that they're trying to promote, then there's a good chance that things won't turn out the way they should turn out, and things only get worse until getting better. I'm going to do another video a little bit later, but I just wanted to share that. I just keep seeing these quotes and different things, and it's not good. It's not good that these people keep promoting a certain narrative that is only meant to cause fear and distrust and hatred and animosity. Anyway, until next time, this is Joe Green. Peace and blessings to you. Be back later on today.